Okay, so this is one of those things that's gonna like come around to bite you if you're struggling to tune your old small block Ford, whether it's a 289 or 302 or what have you. What do we commonly blame when your engine just doesn't run perfectly?
The carburetor.
Is it the carburetor, Justin?
Or the starter.
It's, yeah. The carburetor gets blamed for everything when your engine doesn't run right. So I want to point something out that we often overlook, okay? And I see this all the time, and it's the fuel pump, okay? And it's not because it's not producing enough pressure, it's because it's producing too much pressure. I have yet to find a fuel pump like off-the-shelf standard replacement. It's a mechanical fuel pump on these. I've yet to find one that off-the-shelf just bolted on and it actually like works and produces the pressure that you should be seeing. Carbureted engine, no matter what carburetor you're using, 5 to 6 psi. That's it. Okay. Too much pressure, you're gonna overpower the floats. You're gonna cause all sorts of issues. You're gonna think it's the distributor. You're gonna think it's the carburetor itself. Ask Facebook, they'll tell you to put a starter motor in it, right, Justin?
Yes.
Yeah, put a starter in it.
Or a coil.
Yeah, you're gonna get people that will give you that kind of advice. So this is what I'm gonna show you. We just put a fuel pump in this car. And I've tried, like, every time I do a fuel pump, I try something different because I'm just like trying to find that fuel pump that's gonna actually like work the way it's supposed to. So I got a fuel pressure gauge on here. I'm gonna show you what this sucker is doing. Brand new fuel pump right out of the gate. Let me start this engine up. Okay, so yeah, this thing, so the needle bounces because on a mechanical fuel pump, you have an eccentric cam on your timing gear that kind of like rotates around and it like actuates a little pump lever on your mechanical fuel pump, okay? So that's why you kind of see the needle fluctuation. But at its peak, this gauge only goes to 15 PSI and it was going beyond that. So this is like the worst I've ever seen. I've seen them up to like 15 and 14 before, but typically they're like, 9, 10 PSI, which is still it's just too high. I'm having drivability issues. The engine's not running right. It's overpowering the floats. It's overflooding the engine to the point that if you run it long enough, it just kills the engine. It dies. And that's where you're just like, you're overflooding it so much, you're getting cylinder wash. So let me show you my solution that I do. This is kind of like a quick solution. Like there's lots of different ways you can like solve this issue. But I'm going to show you the kind of quick, easy way to get you back on the road as fast as possible. Okay, so your little fuel pressure regulator, it's got an adjuster dial on there. We don't know where to set it at until we get this on the car with the gauge. So it comes with a variety of fittings. So you just need to figure out what size fuel hose you're using and get the right fittings in here. As you like to put a little bit of Teflon tape on here. Okay, this particular car has like enough like nice soft rubber hose that it's going to be like very easy to put, you know, the regulator right in line here. So what I'm going to end up doing is kind of figuring out like, okay, I want to put it like maybe like right here where it's not going to like bounce and rattle on the valve cover. And I could also kind of put it right here, and I can kind of like, you know, attach it to this wire loom and kind of make it kind of easy there. But I think for this car, yeah, I think I'm going to put it right here. So I'm going to make a little cut on my line right there, and then just kind of put it in line. Okay, it's important to note that you want to put this regulator before your gauge so you can see what is actually going into the carburetor pressure-wise. So these regulators are labeled on the bottom. There is a in and an out. So make sure, you know, this is on the carburetor side and this is on the fuel pump side. Okay, get your regulator on. It's important that this regulator goes on before your gauge, and it's important to note the ins and the outs. This is directional, so like the fuel pump is going to go into the regulator. That's what the in means, and it's going to come out of the regulator on this side right here. So okay, so now that you have this on there, you can kind of like adjust it and see what setting you need to keep it on in order to get this between 5 and 6 psi. 5.5 is perfect. You can't always, you know, get that, but if you're at 5, great. If you're at 6, great. 5.5, perfect. So we're going to see what setting we need to do and then kind of go from there. All right, let's get this started up and see where we're at. Regulator set to 2. It's like about 3.5 psi. Set it to 2.5. It bumps it up to 4. Put it to 3. And boom, there's 5 psi. How about 3.5? Oh, that puts us up to 6. Okay, so sometimes I like to kind of let it warm up and kind of see what the fuel pump is producing when everything's kind of warm, because like that pressure can kind of like maybe drop a little bit once everything's kind of warmed up. So I like to do that, and then I know exactly where to set my regulator to. Much better. Oh yeah, she's already happier. I haven't even done anything else to this carburetor. Okay, now that she's up to temperature, Okay, it's important to note that you need to do this with a gauge because every single car is going to be different. Like, you don't know what fuel pump I'm using, I don't know what fuel pump you're using. So just because I use a setting at 3.5 on this regulator doesn't mean that's going to be like perfect for your setup. So that's why you got to get a gauge on there and the regulator, see where the setting is, and then you can lock it down. You can take the gauge off, you can leave the gauge on, whatever you want. I always take my gauge off because that's like a shop tool for me. So, but I will post links in the description for, you know, where I got this stuff, you know, the little gauge, the regulator, and that way you can kind of get your car dialed in. So it's not always the carburetor. The carburetor gets blamed for everything. And the funny thing is the carburetor is probably the most forgiving part on your engine. It can just kind of like still run even when it's not in tune. It can still like get you down the road, but if it's not getting supplied with the right amount of fuel pressure, it's gonna do all sorts of funny things. So anyway, so hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that was cool. If it was, give us a thumbs up on the video. If you want to follow us along here for more, you know, quick tips and things, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell. All those little things do go a long way when it comes to helping us to keep this going. So anyways, thanks guys, we'll see you next time.